Welcome everyone to another episode of Professional Bookworms. Today I'm going to be giving my top 10 book series of all time while Adi sits in the background. Hi Adi.
Good morning. It's good evening, Sad. Sid.
It is. It is.
It is.
It's 10,
It's
10 it's 10:20 p.m.
still evening in my books. I just woke up.
Best. But yeah. So Adi,
It is.
what what do you predict is in my top 10 right now? There's some obvious ones, there's some less obvious ones because I've spoken about them less. So what do you
All right,
expect?
so I would definitely say, without a doubt, that one of the top books in Sid's tier list is gonna be The Sun and the Storm. And the Sun and the Stars,
No,
right?
no,
In the
no.
Percy Jackson series. I know he loves that book. He literally loves it. He,
I no. Your life is forfeit. Okay.
He loves it. He
So
loves the book.
shut up. Shut up. But yeah, what do you actually think? What do you actually think is gonna be in my top 10?
All right, I definitely think there's gonna be some books from Stormlight. I think Brandon Sanderson's gonna be like a huge focus.
Actually, we're only allowing one series per author.
Oh, that's an interesting take. Now I'm interested.
No, it's like
I
it's
I
it's
I
like a rule every YouTuber uses.
I okay. I think Discworld's gonna be there for you because like you love Discworld.
I do love me some Discworld, yeah. What
That
else do you
that's
love?
it.
That's
Uh,
it? Okay,
I
yeah.
I
So you,
think
you,
so.
you still haven't guessed my number one. So before that, I'll just set some ground rules. As I've already said, only one series per author. But the
Hmm.
second rule is a series only qualifies if I have read more than one book in the series. For example, I have read Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb and absolutely loved it. But I've only read that book and nothing else in the series,
Hmm.
the Elder Rings or the Farseer trilogy. So that doesn't count. And I think that's about time to get into my number one. Any final guesses on what it is?
Uh, the Sun and Star.
I hate you. No, it is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan and the final three books, Brandon Sanderson. Um, so this is my absolute favorite series of all time. For a long
Yeah.
time, while I was reading it, it was actually book number two. Stormlight was number one for a fairly long time. But it's not because Stormlight dropped in quality. It's because the last four books of this series were just so bombastic, so spectacular that it just skyrocketed to number one. Like I think from um this series a lot of series you go to their fandoms, you ask them to like rattle off a bunch of criticism about it, they'll be able to name like one or two. With the Wheel of Time, guess how many most fans will be able to give you?
Uh, One.
They will pull out a list that is as long as the entire series itself because
Oh.
it's a series that's not for everyone, but it
Hmm.
is the exact definition of the term more than the sum of its parts. Because the beauty of the Wheel of Time is, of course, with such a long series, something absolutely amazing is once you finish the series, you take a look back at what happened in book one. You take a look back at where the characters started, where the plots were, where everything
Uh-huh.
happened, and you see the progression through each book. It's minute. It's not as stated as something like Stormlight, where each character arc in Stormlight is big, bombastic, and everything. No, in Wheel of Time, there are those big and bombastic moments, but the character changes throughout Wheel of Time are more subtle, more minute, and when you look at and there's so many shifting perspectives. There's so many characters that someone can find annoying. There's so many sections that go slow or whatever. There's three books in the middle that people consider to be extremely slow and interesting
Uh-huh.
uninteresting. It's literally called the slog. Now I personally didn't mind the slog as much except for book 10, but that tells you enough. But when you look at this whole series, it just you cannot help but love it because it's not for everyone. It is not for everyone. But
Hmm.
in the end, I think I think that this book series has just so many high highs. It has some low lows, but those highs dilute it so much that it's just a really beautiful series to get into. It has single-handedly my favorite character arc of all time. With a specific character, I won't say anything about who they are, but how you see them start, how you see them end, how you see their middles. There are so many heartbreaks, so many moments of grandeur, so many big sweeping extreme moments of action.
Uh-huh.
Every second of this character's arc is perfect, and where it ends, and the destination is definitely well worth the journey, in my opinion. I don't think there's a single Wheel of Time fan I've seen who is unsatisfied with the ending. That's all I'll say. uh,
All
because
right.
the ending really is something special. The whole series really is something special. So yeah, that's my number one.
But I would ask you what the ending is like, but I don't think you can say anything about that without spoilers, can you?
I can try. The ending of the Wheel of Time is incredibly interesting. It's
Uh-huh.
nothing that you expect. There is a whole chapter of battles that is longer than the first Harry Potter book. And it
God damn.
this book this book along with the 14th book of the Wheel of Time, along with the 12th book of the same series, and the
Yeah.
5th book of the Stormlight Archive, are the closest I've ever gotten to crying over a book, because there's moments that are just so beautiful, and it's nothing that you expect, but when you look back on everything you will realize how perfect the ending really is, because once you reach that ending you will be in absolute shock. I I remember that moment when I finally finished The Wheel of Time after a year and a half of reading it, and I
Yeah.
just put the book down and curled up in the bed I was reading it and just thought, and oh god, it's a really great series, and there's I don't think there's a single bad book in the series, but there's just some that are a bit lesser than the others, but it's great. It's great. What do you guess is my number two, actually?
Mm, all right. I would either say Discworld or something along or something in the Miss Bond series.
Not Miss Bond, but it is Sanderson. It is the Stormlight Archive.
The Stormlight
I
Archive. All right.
Stormlight. No, pretty much every Sanderson fan agrees that Stormlight is better than Miss Bond in pretty much every way,
All
because
right.
because uh, Miss Bond is good.
Hmm.
Stormlight is great. Um, because when you really get so the beauty of Stormlight, of course, it is a completely alien world. It is nothing like Earth. There are some commonalities, but in the end, there really is. That it's so new, it's so fresh. The beginning of the series will leave you confused,
Yeah.
but what really latches onto you at the beginning of Stormlight is the characters, because the characters like Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar, they have such magnetic personalities. They have such magnetic flaws and weaknesses
Hmm.
as characters, and you can just smell the growth that they have coming for them. And by the end, I mean, by the end of each book, you will feel like you've gone on a journey with these characters, because Sanderson is, of course, known for his big bombastic endings that
Yeah.
that are unrivaled in the industry, because they have a whole term for it. They're called Sanderlanches, and the Sanderlanche for pretty much every Stormlight book is absolutely insane, because um, the greatness of these Sanderlanches don't really come from plot developments. It comes from these character arcs, because that really is Sanderson's strong suit, in my opinion,
Hmm.
because the way he handles these arcs really is quite beautiful. Um, because I know the fifth book recently came out and it's been extremely controversial. There have been people who loved it, people who have hated it, people who are more in the middle. The majority discussion that I've seen is on YouTube specifically is negative. Outside of YouTube, it tends to be a bit more positive.
Yeah.
But I really love the book. It's probably the most singularly flawed Stormlight book.
Hmm.
It's but it's still my second favorite just because of the way it wraps up these character arcs. If you ask me, the first arc is completely worth it. Now I have to tell you, do not go into the first arc of the Stormlight Archive uh, from book five expecting an ending in book five. It's not
All
that.
right.
A lot of the disappointments in book five have been because they expected a complete ending to the series, because that's how it was marketed as the end of the first arc. Because
Uh-huh.
I already knew that the ending to the first arc would be more like the midpoint of the series than really the ending. So I'll let you discover that on your own, because it leaves a lot of di- open threads. But in the end, the sense of conclusion and finality that you have when it comes to Stormlight is the fact that, well, these character arcs that you've been following since book one for literally thousands of pages have come to an end, and they are great. Almost all of them are perfect because there are these guy, and you see these characters mold and shift and change over these periods of time, and it is so great to watch them do that. And in the end, when you also get into Stormlight, uh, you also come in for the plots, because a large criticism of Stormlight is that he can cut the books down. They don't need to be 1,000 pages. They
Yeah.
drag on for long. I do not agree. Uh, when I read a Stormlight book, I am able. I love every second of it, every step on the journey, because it because I feel like each scene is able to perfectly tie into the character arcs. Because I'm never bored with a Stormlight book. I'm not usually bored with books except maybe like Aragon or something, because it's just generally unengaging because the characters are boring. But we're not here to talk about how horrible Aragon is. Not horrible is a strong word. It was just mediocre. But
Yeah.
uh, we're here to talk about how great Stormlight is. And in the end, I think there's a reason The Way of Kings is tied with the 11th book of the Wheel of Time as my favorite book of all time. It is, it's just fantastic because when you go into the series, you go in for the characters, because I can't say more without spoiling it, but the world of these books is amazing. It's immersive, it's great to read, it is alien, but you will love it for that. Eventually, it just starts feeling natural to you because of all the history that's revealed you after all the time you spent with it. The characters feel so natural, feel so relatable in so many ways. Uh, and the plots are just absolutely engaging. And that's that's my 2 cents on Stormlight. So next we'll get into number three. What do you guess? What do you guess is going to be number three?
I have no idea. At this point, almost everything has surprised me. I really thought the number one spot would be the sun and the star. I am hugely disappointed with how much
I
you with how much you always like whenever we hop on call on like Instagram, you always talk about how much you loved the sun and the star. And it's just a bit bizarre to see you leave it out in such a list. You know what I mean?
I think we should stop being friends.
No. All right. So, what is your number three, Sid?
Give it a final guess. Come on, you can do it. Don't say Sun in the Star.
Discworld?
Your life is forfeit. It's this world.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you finally got one right. Okay, so Discworld is okay. I'm gonna say one thing about Discworld. It is the fastest I've ever convinced anyone to read a book series. It is so. All I had to do was just send the person I was trying to recommend the series to,
Yeah.
like a bunch of quotes from the series, and they
Yeah.
were immediately in. They were just like, "Okay,
Oh
you're
my
bringing
god.
that book for me tomorrow. You are, I am going to read that." And guess what? They loved it, and because Discworld is just a series filled with so much charm. It's like the most I've ever laughed out loud at a book ever. Men at Arms, specifically the second book of the City Watch series, and yeah, Yeah, I'm a little book pirate,
Book pirate.
but yeah, book pirate. I don't pirate books. No, that's bad.
Yeah,
Don't do
no,
that. But
we might be book pirates, but we don't pirate books. Somebody write that down and put that on my tombstone. Yeah, anyway.
but yeah, it is just a series filled with so much charm, from the world to the characters who are just hilarious. And this might have the best writing I've ever read, because it is just genius in so many ways. So many, like, so many lines that you read when you first get into them, they have just so many layers that sometimes you just have to stop and be like, what?
Wow.
So and when you finally get it, it's like the funniest thing you've ever read in your life. And
Uh-huh.
but that's not all there is to Discworld. Really, Discworld is probably like the book series I've read with the most just highs and lows. It's like the most clashing quality, because you
Uh-huh.
have books like, I've only read seven. I haven't even gotten close to finishing the series. That's 41. There are 41 books in this series. I've read seven, man. It's already my
Yeah.
favorite, one of my favorites, because this world, after once you really get into this world, like, I started with cards. Fantastic, fantastic book. Then I got into more. It's a good book. It's not great. It's good. Not perfect. It's good.
Hmm.
Then after that, I read Men at Arms, which is my favorite. After which, I read The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic, which is basically a two-parter. And I didn't love them because they were some of the, oh my god, your bottle is blurry.
Hold on, is it? Oh my god, my bottle. Sorry.
Your bottle is blurry. But and then I read Color Magic and the Light Fantastic, which did not blow me away at all. Uh, they were extremely mediocre. I barely laughed at either of them.
Uh-huh.
Guess what I read like immediately after. I haven't told you the name. You won't be able to guess. I read Small Gods, and Small Gods. I'm telling you, it's one of the best books I've ever read in my life.
I think you have mentioned that before, if I'm not wrong. I just
Yeah, but I doubt you
forgot.
remember the name. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Small Gods is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. If I'm going to be honest with you,
Uh,
I do personally enjoy Men at Arms more,
yeah.
but Small Gods is like objectively better. It's just that Men at Arms made me laugh more.
All right.
Because Small Gods is just a, because these books, they aren't just romps extremely funny. They are extremely funny, but they're able to convey themes in such a really great way. Specifically, the three books I've read the most from this: Reaper Man, Small Gods, and Men at Arms, and they're generally able to make you like feel stuff at specific points, which is not what you
Hmm.
expect based on uh, what kind of series. Like, if you come into this expecting just a comedy, get ready for a whole lot more, because it's fantastic down to every single last detail. And that's why I love it. So, this world, number three.
Discworld.
And after reading these books, it's like one of my biggest like sadnesses is that I became a Discworld fan after Sir Terry Pratchett passed away, which is tragic
Oh,
because reading his words, you can just like tell like there's a chance of me meeting Brandon Sanderson. It's very low, but there's a chance. I'm never gonna be able to meet Sir Teddy, and that's heartbreaking because he, you can just feel the genius through the books. And yeah. And the next one, I don't know if I've mentioned to you ever. I'm not
yeah.
sure. I have no idea. Okay, wait. What do you guess? Number four is.
All right. So, since it's something you haven't mentioned to me ever,
No, I don't think I've mentioned. I might have. I probably mentioned it on a video a couple times. Yeah.
mm,
Hmm.
mm, is it that book we keep getting like art for in the videos?
What?
No.
What?
All right.
No, wait, what did you say? I didn't hear.
Like I said, is it the book we keep getting like art for in the videos? Is that
Maybe.
it?
Yeah. It's the same author.
Well, I got somewhere. All right, show us the book.
Okay. Number four is the First Law trilogy by Joseph Romby. So, so many things that you've heard about the First Law. Not you, Adi. People. It's a very popular series, but so many things that you've heard that people have heard about the First Law trilogy are just correct. So
Uh-huh.
many are wrong because um, a very large criticism of the first book in particular is that it has no plot.
That's bizarre.
And I think what they mean is that I think what they mean is
Hmm.
that there's no central plot, like there's no singular driving force to the entire book, and
Yeah.
until the very end, of course. There is a plot, and it's really engaging because, like many of the other series I've mentioned here, it's characters that really hook you at the beginning because they will make you feel like there's something building up to. You will love every second that you spend inside these characters' heads. It's fantastic, Adi. I can your eyes are frozen. Okay, but
They are?
no, not anymore. But
Oh, all right.
uh, uh, what Mr. Abercrombie has done here is absolutely fantastic because really this trilogy reads like one big book, one
Hmm.
really big book because it's a natural like progression of a three act structure because the first book is like the setup for everything. The second book is and the third book is just an absolute amazing climax to the whole series because the ending of the series is actually pretty divisive. My friend Rishikesh, who I gave the book, he's been on a couple of videos too. Uh,
Yeah.
he hates the ending. He loved the first two books. He hates the ending. Um, I don't get it because I think the ending is absolutely perfect to this trilogy because some people might not like it, but really, I think it's the perfect thematic conclusion to the whole book, to the whole series. Because when you take a look at everything that's happened in the trilogy up till then, uh, you can really feel just the brilliance in the pages. So, uh, I've said that singular phrase so many times today, haven't I? But oh god, but first love, it's fantastic.
All right.
I don't know what else to say. This series actually, there's about six more books that have been released. I have two of the ones after this trilogy. So after the first law trilogy, there are three standalone books, and there's another trilogy which people say is even better than this one. I cannot wait to get to that because if this is already this good, if you get better, that has a real shot at getting number one, really. So if you can get even better than that, sorry, uh, if you can get better than that, sign me up.
Signs
I'm
it
gonna
up.
read this, signs it up. So if I'm gonna read the standalones next, and then I'm gonna read that third trilogy, which I have an absolute faith is gonna be fantastic. Number five is a bit more unconventional. Can you guess what it is?
I cannot. It is.
Try.
God damn it, Sid. Hmm.
Come on, you can do it.
Give me a hint. Give me a hint. Come on.
Uh, Ship.
Do you know how little that narrows it down?
That was the
Are
point.
you? I... God.
That was the point. Oh God, get down. Yeah. Do you give up?
Yeah, I give up. I give.
Bam! It's One Piece. Now shut up. I know it's not a book series, but I've seen other booktubers do it, which means legally I can do it. Okay.
It's not a book series. We're cutting this part out of the video.
It's that's why I said it's a little unconventional. You have to live with the choices I make, Adi.
I have to
This is
live
my
with them
video.
anyways, son.
Okay, yeah. So One Piece at the beginning, it seems just like pure fun, pure just a nice little romp. Then you get to the
Hmm.
end of the first saga, and then at that point you realize how much of an emotional connection you've built to the characters. Like it's not apparent at first. Not at all apparent. It just feels like you're having fun with them, you're running around, helping them build their crew. And then you reach the end of the first saga of One Piece, and you are just blown away, absolutely, because yeah, God, there's dust on this guy's hair. Uh, but because the ending of One Piece is absolutely like that. I haven't gotten to the ending of One Piece. No one's gotten to the ending of One Piece. It's still going on. 21 years. Which 21
It's
years?
still
Yeah.
the One Piece.
Shut up. But uh, but when you really get into One Piece, it, it is great at being both extremely lighthearted and extremely emotionally compelling. Because
Hmm.
as you go on with the series, you have these extremely fun moments just goofing off with the characters, goofing off, and then when you reach those moments of grandeur, that they just hit even harder because you know the national rapport of this crew, and when you reach these moments of emotional turmoil with them, it hits even harder because you know what they're supposed to be like. They're not being like that, and my God, the first saga of One Piece completely blew me away. The second was a little worse. Third was my least favorite. This fourth saga, I'm about halfway through the fourth saga. I'm in the last arc of the fourth
Yeah.
saga of One Piece. And the saga is the Water 7 saga. It is fantastic. It is genuinely like after the previous arc, um, like I've only written like Water 7, like the arc before that is just like absolute fun, absolute goofiness. You're just having fun with the characters. It's just a grand old time, and then you get to Water 7 and it hits you in the feels, boom boom boom, multiple times in a row, and you're just flabbergasted because of like you're not allowed to do that. And when I started this series, I was not expecting to almost cry because of it, but I did,
Oh,
and
all
that
right.
really, yeah. I, I used to be such a snob. I was like, I'm never going to watch one of those anime things. I'm never going to read one of those manga things. I was stupid.
That is literally me right now.
You should try this. It's great.
I would try watching it, but it's like a lot of episodes. Like I think it's closing in on 2000 episodes, if I'm right. So
There's a lot of filler in the anime if I'm not wrong. Like
you
stuff
know
that's
what?
not in the manga.
Maybe I
Maybe
will.
the manga, like Ishan and Rishikesh have just told me that the manga is a lot better. So maybe
Yeah,
start there.
I will.
Yeah.
But manga is also expensive as hell, and as you just said, I don't pirate.
Oh, see, no, I just use a library card to read it.
Oh my god. You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I should check if my school has One Piece. I'm not sure.
Oh no,
I'm
it's
not
like a
sure.
library card in the US. It's not
God
legal.
damn you,
I,
Scott.
I, I
God
can
damn you.
explain. I will
Ah,
explain in the comments if someone asks. Okay, but yeah, it's a great series. If you underestimate manga, go read this unless you don't like happiness. Guess.
I
Now
am
this is
done
one
with
I
guessing. I've gotten like a single one right. I'm done. I am done.
this is like one that I am absolutely positive I have not mentioned to you, but it is extremely popular. Guess.
Percy Jackson. Jackson,
I
like the
have mentioned
original.
that I have mentioned that to you a lot. Guess again.
Um.
It is
Okay.
something
Okay.
that
Hold
has
on.
inspired Percy Jackson.
Uh. All right. I know this is one of George Orwell's favorite books. Something by Colleen Hoover.
You're right. Number six, it ends with no. Shut up. Shut up.
No, because I was actually looking forward to you holding it up at the camera, and I would be like, "Ooh."
I don't know that shit.
Of course he
Just
doesn't.
guess. Just guess. Just guess.
Of course he doesn't own that shit.
I do not. I will try it someday. I don't. I hope I don't hate it. But yes, come on.
Hmm. Are you sure it's not Colleen Hoover?
I will end you. Just guess.
I mean, oh God. Um. uh. I'm done guessing. Please just present the book.
Fine. It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God.
It's
You have
extremely popular.
positively never mentioned that to me. I'm done. I'm done.
I have. I have.
I'm leaving. I'll see you guys.
After, after this, I mentioned all of them to you at least once or twice, so you're good. You can guess. So this is the last of the cities that I'm going to be able to like completely gush about.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lord of the Rings is fantastic. Like it's a classic. Pretty much
Hmm.
every fan of modern high epic fantasy has read this. It's basically a law. It's like thou shalt not be a high
Same.
epic fantasy fan and not be read it The Lord of the Rings because it's so darn good.
So darn good.
So darn good. But yeah, I I have this is like really the cities that catapulted me into this whole niche of fantasy.
Yeah.
Some weird stuff going on there. Uh, because one day I was just wondering like, hey, I'm a nerd. What do nerds do? They read Lord of the Rings. So
Nerd.
I read Lord of the Rings. And the first book can be a bit slow for many people. I felt it at first until recently. I randomly I just started enjoying slow books. I think this book brainwashed me into being able to do that. So don't read Lord of the Rings. It will brainwash you into enjoying good literature.
All right.
Very dangerous. But yeah, the first book is pretty slow. It, uh, for instance, the example in The Hobbit to get from point A to point B, it took one chapter. In The Lord of the Rings, to get from the same point A to the same point B, it took almost half the entire book, the first book at least. So that's a lot of the first book is just walking, talking, but those dialogues, that world, Tolkien is known for being an absolute master of his world building,
Yeah.
and I am inclined to agree because I've read the Silmarillion, I've read parts of the appendices, and the depth of it really still blows me away because well, it's not the most it doesn't stick in my mind exactly. Once you've finished the Silmarillion, all the things start like pouring out of your brain like, okay, oh yeah, Celebrimbor, and like, who, that's an actual name. I think he's the guy who forged the rings with Sauron, but whatever. Lord of the Rings, it's great. It's an absolute classic, and
Yeah.
yeah, by the end of the series, you will. He does such a great job of conveying the themes of the story. He does such a great job. These characters, they have established a lot of the archetypes that modern fantasy still follows. Recently, with more modern fantasy, we've been breaking away from the pattern that Lord of the Rings really ground. But you can still see so many of the archetypes he set up, and that's great because this is great. Lord of the Rings. I've also read the Silmarillion, great book. I've also and fantastic. It's just fantastic. Yeah. Pause.
I.
Boy.
Ge-
And guess the next one. It's extremely popular. You have to be able to. You've read it. That's a hint. Guess.
Miss Bond.
You haven't read this boy. Also,
The,
one author per series. I mean, one author only. One series per author. Yeah. Come
all
on.
right.
You've read this?
Percy Jackson.
No.
God damn you! Wh-
Come
What
on,
else have I
Prashant,
read?
it's literally one of the most popular book series of all time. Maybe the highest selling. I don't. That's not fact checked. I think it is,
Harry
but
Potter.
Harry Potter.
Oh my god.
The text is faded. Harry Potter is great.
You know
It's
what else
really
is
the
faded?
series. Your dignity.
Yeah. All right, go on, go on. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Bringing your dignity to light. But
Oh my.
yeah, Harry Potter is great. It's the series that really got me into reading. So it just catapulted me into reading. My mom recommended it to me. Thanks, Anna. And I remember loving it. I spent 3 months reading the first book. I was basically out of speed, man. But to be fair, I was in third grade and Arav is in 10th grade and he can't finish a 500-page book in less than 9 months.
Arav, we are comparing your level of reading aptitude to third grade Sid. I hope you're
And
happy.
you're still losing. That's the worst part.
You're still losing. What a loser.
We love you,
I'm
Arav. We're
joking.
kidding.
We love him. We love him. I
He's
said I love you,
awesome.
Arav.
But yeah, Arav. No, not Arav. Harry Potter.
Arav.
Arav is my seventh favorite book series of all time. Okay, but yeah, it's really the series that got me into reading. It's gonna hold a special place in my heart for me. I haven't read it in 4 years, so I I haven't reread it in 4 years. I lost it in 2021. It was great
Yeah.
back then. I do not remember now. These characters are still ingrained in my mind, but like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, rank here? I don't remember shit. It's been 4 years. That's like 4 years. But
4 years.
it's 4 years.
4 years.
4 years. But yeah, it really is a great series because I know there's stuff that's happened with the author. I don't support what she says, but that doesn't
I
change
have
the
no
fact that
idea what happened with the author.
ugh, I'll have to tell you sometime. But
You will.
I will. But
You will.
it's still a really great series because uh, I don't know if I like it as much on a reread. I'll have to see sometime. But from what I remember, it's fantastic because it's not a masterpiece or anything. It's not, but it's still a really well written series, really well written characters that really stick in your mind. Except I've never met a person whose favorite Harry Potter character is Harry. So except him, has some really
Okay, that.
memorable side characters. This will always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Just not as special anymore. So we all about the
Let's
Stormlights now,
go off note,
baby.
please.
Okay, guess.
Oh,
Number eight.
not again.
Number
Not
eight.
again.
Number eight.
I'm not doing that.
Number eight. Guess. Come on. You have to. Please.
It's not in my contract. You can't force me to do this. You can't force
For
me.
me,
I'm Miss
thank
Bond.
you.
Wait, no. Brandon Sanderson is done. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I got no clue.
We've done a video on it.
Uh,
Prisha wanted to make a review of the TV
Good
adaptation
Girls
for
Guide to Murder.
Good Girls Guide to Murder. Uh,
Unbelievable.
so I was not expecting to like the series as much as I did because it's a part of a recommendation, and I generally do not trust part of these days at all. You don't know her. You you've never met her.
Parthavi. I think I
Mm-hmm.
do know her. Prisha knows her pretty well, I think.
Yeah, Prisha does.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's one of my best friends. She recommended the series to me, and her taste sucks.
So,
It was not so much sucks as much as I disagree with it entirely because it sucks. But yeah,
If Sid disagrees with it, it sucks. That's a note to our viewers.
yeah. If I disagree with you, it sucks. That's why the Star Wars prequels are like good actually. I haven't watched those in a while. I don't know if they're still good. I think the first two are good. I mean, the first two are horrible. Sorry,
Yeah,
misspoke. Third one is good. Third one is good. The best part of Star Wars prequels, however, is the Clone Wars because that those are great. Been a while since I watched those two, though, so I don't really know. But Good Girls Like Murder, yeah.
yeah,
Uh, this series is really great. What it tries to be because okay, it's a much shorter series than what I usually do. It's 3 books long, no spin-offs, no adventures, nothing after the 3 main books except a novella, which I have not read. Um, I tried reading it, I got bored and just read Stormlight instead. I didn't get bored, I just lost interest. But so first book, it's a really great look. It's a really great murder mystery novel. It basically the whole series follows uh, a student uh, who has to do a school project. She can choose whatever she wants. I don't know how the UK education system works. So she decides to go into a 6-year-old murder that that she believes has been falsely solved, and tries to solve it for school, which is a weird thing to do for school. But hey, I can respect it. It's better than whatever the hell I do. Uh,
hey, I'd do it any day to get my cast requirements done.
yeah, and she enlists the help of the falsely accused victim's brother, who is also dead at this point.
Who's
And
dead?
not the victim, the falsely accused murderers who's dead. They think he died in a suicide. So
All right.
she goes into this, and the first book is good. It's really good. It is extremely fast paced, like ridiculously fast paced. I took this to dentist's office. I mean, not a dentist, the optometrist's office, just to get like an eye checkup. I could not put it
Yeah,
down. It's a great book. It's not like a masterpiece. It's not mind blowing or anything. It's just really good. Uh, it's a fun little read. It's done. Second book was a bit of a step down. It's still great. I think the ending was fantastic. I just think uh, it's just not as good. It's not horrible. It's not like worse in any aspect really. It's just like
yeah,
a little lesser. The third book is great. Again, it's not a masterpiece or anything, but it really delves into the psychology of the main character, not to the fullest, but to an extent that it, I personally think it's really well done. Uh, it's really well done because it delves into the psyche of the main character. It delves into really what's been set up in the first 2 books. Because usually with these murder mystery novels like Agatha Christie or Sherlock Holmes, you don't get like one continuous story, and with this, you really don't either. But you get
yeah,
continuous themes. You get continuous, like, okay, the character work in the series is not very strong except for the main character. Everyone except the main character is like bland, except maybe the antagonists.
Blade.
The antagonists have some really interesting characters. Main character, antagonists, everyone else is bland. They have fun personalities, but when you really try to get any nuance of the character, you can't find any.
Yeah,
I've seen, but it, I think the third book especially is really well handled with what it tries to tackle.
yeah.
That's all I'll say. Yes, number 9. Yes, come on, you can do it.
I'm not doing it. I'm done. I'm
I
done.
am 100% sure you can guess this one. Just try. You can
What
do
is
it.
up
Come
with?
on. I know you can do it.
Give me a
Come
hint.
on. You've read it.
Mistborn.
Oh my god. Stop guessing this. Guess. You've read it. This is ridiculously easy. Oh my God, it's Percy Jackson.
I'm done. I'm done. Since
You
doing this
are
episode
done.
on its own. Bye.
Join back, you foof. But yeah, um, now this is a series of which opinions I have soured on it a little bit over the years. I used to think this was like the best thing since sliced bread. I no longer think that. I have no.
Clearly, that's not
I
true
am
since I am the best thing since sliced bread.
objectively correct.
Objectively
But
correct.
yeah, objectively correct. But I don't know. Okay, see, the recent releases of the series have been absolute misses for me. The Sun and the Star, shut up, buddy. The Child of the Gods, Rat of the Triple Goddess. Uh, they have not hit for me whatsoever. I have hated them so much, and I don't know if this is just me growing out of Percy Jackson, or if it's just that these specific books are horrible. So I'm really scared to go back to the earlier books, but because of that, this series has really gone down in my rankings. Because this will have a special place in my heart as one of the series that got me back into reading after a long slump.
Yeah.
But my opinions on it have definitely soured. Like I think that the first, like the earlier books before the newer releases, were good. They're just not close to great at all. They're good. Like they're fun. They're funny at certain points. But I feel like I don't know. It's not really landing for me in the way that it used to, and that's sad because this used to be like my favorite thing ever. The House of Hades was once upon a time my favorite book of all time. Not anymore, man. That makes me sad because one thing that I held in such high regard for such a long time, falling from grace, such as look, the guy's falling on the cover. I'm I'm a prophet. I'm a genius. It's really disappointing to see something that I held in such high regard suddenly drop. Maybe it's because my standards have changed. Maybe I am an appreciator of great literature now, and I have no such time for drivel such as this. But Percy
Triple.
Jackson,
Such fancy words. Such fancy words.
nonsensical. It is juvenile in every way. I scoff at it. Let's move on. Pause.
We got professional stud.
I am almost 100% sure you can't guess this one.
Not again. Not
Just
again.
try, just try, just try. I don't think you can, but I'm willing to see what you think.
It is probably my favorite book, Colleen Hoover.
I hate you. Uh,
uh,
guess. No joke guesses.
fine. Um, Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
There's blue people with red eyes.
Avatar?
I don't watch that. I prefer the Nickelodeon one because it's just a really great show.
Blue people with red eyes. Who the hell is
A,
blue with
a
red
s-
eyes?
a singular blue person with red eyes. Not a lot. That only comes in later books.
A
That's
singular
not
person
in this.
with blue. A singular blue person with red eyes.
He's a really smart blue person with red eyes.
Give me some more hints. Like what?
It's Star Wars, the Tron trilogy.
I'm done. I'm done.
I told you you would be able to guess it. I knew it,
I did
man.
not. I did not guess it. I'm done. Bye.
Come back. I miss you. Think
That's what
about
she
ours.
said. She didn't say
Okay.
think about Arab. What the hell?
Okay, take that as you will, everyone. But dang it, no one thinks about Heart of Pork. I think about him a lot. But yeah, this is the series that really kickstarted me back into reading, which might sound weird because okay,
It does sound
back in
weird.
20, back in 2021, I was going through a big Star Wars phase, all right. Uh, and I watched Star Wars Rebels, and there was this one character who showed up in season three called Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I thought, oh, that guy is really cool. I wonder if there's anything else with him. So I looked it up. Turns out he came from some books. At this point, it had been like 5 years since I read a book. And I was like, oh, books are not 5 years, that's like 3 years since I read a book. I was like, oh, books are boring. Books are bad. I don't want to read a
Hmm.
book. But the more and more I watched that show, I was like, shit, I really need to know more about this guy. So I got the Tron trilogy, which is the book series that he's originating from. It's not canon anymore. It has been a long time since I read this. So I feel like if I reread it and I read some more series, it will get knocked off. I had to knock it down for the fact, but it will get knocked off. But
That's what I.
stop, please.
I didn't say anything.
But I'm very grateful for the series for getting me back into reading. So it takes place directly after the original Star Wars trilogy. Basically, there's this new guy called Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's trying to bring back the Empire, and he's a really great, stunning, uh, stunning. He's a really great tactician. You just
Yeah,
can't resist the Thrawn, man. He's stunning,
stunning,
stunning.
stunning.
Thrawn Aditya, Thrawn Aditya.
What the heck?
But yeah, and it's a really engaging thing. It's the first thing I've ever read from the Star Wars expanded universe, which is not canon anymore. It's also the only
Yeah,
thing I've read from the Star Wars expanded universe because there are like 300 books in that thing, and I'm not doing that. That's not happening. These things are expensive. So, uh, it's a great series. Yeah, it's great from my memory. I don't know if I like it as much when I reread. There we go. That's my top 10. In the comments, give us what yours is. Uh,
and
if
please
you even
save
get to
me
this
from
point.
having to guess more books.
Okay, what's number 11, homeboy? Okay, get back. But yeah, that about brings us to the end of this. Uh, have a good one. We will smell you later.